Is the world as a whole okay with the changeling milking farm? And as always, it depends on where you are in the world, because in Florishade, which is in the Great Collection down here, they are so far removed from the horrors of what actually takes place in the changeling milking farms that they don't really care. I mean, commoners like Selma and the rest of the townsfolk here are fed the same propaganda and are told that it's patriotic to eat orc druid arm. There's nothing wrong with cooking goblins and eating them and sharing them with everyone. Hell, you can run a business where you eat fairies. As we travel west on the Souls Highway, things become a lot more different and a lot more extreme, especially when we start hitting the Yershava Plains and the Elden Forest. Like when you were in this part of the Chaos Plains, this is when you hit the extreme side of things. This is where the changeling milking farms actually exist. And so for the mortals that live in the Chaos Plains, they are all for it. That is a massive industry for them. They are the closest to the action. This is where changelings have the greatest impact on politics because this is closest to their capitals. This is where, when you go into a town, that they rub a piece of stone on you to see if your skin reacts and shows that you are a changeling. This is where, if they find a changeling child walking down the street or hiding away, that they will beat it to death and they will throw its body into the trash without a second thought. This is when kids in school are encouraged to go changeling hunting, where they will go out with sticks and bats and pitchforks and go hunt changelings. So for these people, they love the brutality. They are doing patriotic service to the Great Collection. But when you start talking to the residents in the Elden Forest, it is a completely different story. It is absolutely monstrous what they do to changelings. They understand the history of the war and what changelings did, and to the people of the Elden Forest, changelings were a heroic race that risked life, limb, and security to go on those espionage missions. They understand they eat babies, but they have solutions such as feeding prisoners' children's to the changelings as a way of allowing them to reproduce in a controlled environment. And even that's limited because their solution was just go on the outside, since they want to milk your people, to torture and maim your women to get that changeling honey. Go ahead, steal their children. But if you have to have it, we do have a solution for you here in our society. Because the people of the Elden Forest view nature and its brutality a little bit more under a rational light. They understand that it's not a great thing, but they understand that's the nature of how things work. They're not going to go out and call a bear evil because it killed somebody. And hell, if you're messing with a bear and the bear ends up killing you, they ain't even going to go after the bear. They're going to be like, well, you shouldn't have done that. Here's your Darwin Award. But even within the Great Collection of the Chaos Plains, there are people who find the practice of the milking farms absolutely inhumane. A great example of that is some original Diamond characters got together and they formed an organization called People for the Ethical Treatment of Changeling, aka PETSI. Which, by the way, if you grab a diamond, you could also join and help get rid of the milking farms altogether. But yeah, absolutely. There are people within the Elden Forest who believe that the changelings need to find a different solution that doesn't revolve around preying on people outside of their borders. So along with an answer to say, it's complicated. If you'd like to see what changes do actually in my stories, go ahead and grab a copy of The Night of Slaughter or The Devil's Deal now.